Hey there, my name is Cara Bradley. I'm a mental strength coach and the founder of Verge Body Mind in suburban Philadelphia. I've been training bodies and minds for my entire life. My focus is on helping people settle down, shift beyond their busy mind, wake up and show up right now in this moment where we're strongest and most clear. And from that point on, when we're present, we shine. We access potential. We access intelligence. We just feel better. We perform better. We connect more with others. So that is what I'm here to talk to you about today. We couldn't meet in person today, but we will meet in person in 2018. But for now, you have me with this short intro. So just sit back, relax, and get ready to meet your busy mind. My interest in teaching has always been about helping people experience life fully. What does that mean? To show up and experience your work, your family, yourself, your community, and the world in a way that feels more raw, in a way that feels more real. What happens in our daily lives is that we get stuck in busyness, in overdoing, in planning, in remembering, in doubting, and fearing. And these are all patterns of our mind that we're going to talk about. What I'd like to do in this short video is just to introduce you to what I call your busy mind. And in introducing you to your busy mind, it can help you to start to shift your perspective from being chronically stressed or anxious to pulling the lens back a little bit, feeling a lot clearer and calmer and more purposeful in what you do, both at work and at home. So how do I know this stuff? Well, I've been a walking experiment my entire life. I was a professional skater and an athlete my entire life and a teacher, actually since I was 15. And I've always been extremely interested in how to access potential and purpose in our lives. What made some people seem so happy and vibrant and successful in how they were going about their lives, while other people just always seemed frazzled and frenzied and chaotic and filled with drama. And I've studied it in others and mostly in myself. And in so doing, I've been able to work through a whole lot of patterns and conditions that I've created myself, that my family created for me, and actually that our culture has created as well. So this conversation goes much longer than just a short video. But for today, I just want you to recognize that there are things that are happening in your daily life that's all autopilot. There are ways of being and speaking and thinking that you're just doing unconditionally. You're doing actually conditionally. You're doing in a way that is just like a default, a go-to anxiety, go-to drama, go-to sadness, go-to expectation, go-to stress. We actually condition ourselves. And so what I'm here to do today is just to introduce a few short, easy, simple practices and strategies that you can implement right away to start to jostle yourself and wake yourself up out of that busyness, out of that mental autopilot. And when you start to do that, you're going to start to see things a little differently. And when you start to see things differently, repetitively, you start to change. You start to find ways to live outside of your busy mind. You find ways to live more in the present moment. And when we're present, we feel more purposeful. We create, we contribute, and we connect with others much more deeply. So again, how do I know this? I've just been practicing myself. For years and decades, been pulling apart my own mind, been looking at my patterns and habits, some not so pretty habits and patterns under a microscope, under the microscope of practice. And in many ways, and for today, I want you to think about your mind like your phone. And I know there are many people that are saying, don't compare the human brain to a computer or a cell phone. But you know what? It's what we're so intimate with. We are so intimate with our phones. We know how it works. We know the settings, how to turn things off, how to turn things on. We know how to install new apps. We know how to delete old apps. We know how apps are useful, different ways of maneuvering through the world. We also know what drains our batteries. We know when we need to plug our phones in when we're fully charged. So if we take that metaphor and just start to look at our mind the same way, we can really start to, just laugh at the insanity of the way that most of us are living, so busy, so frantic, so overwhelmed. And we can start to gain access to those settings in our mind. The settings that can turn down the volume of the thinking mind. The settings that can help us to recharge our batteries. We can start to notice things that we do repetitively, like on a loop, right? A looping drama pattern or a looping anxiety or stress pattern. And when we start to recognize those patterns, just like it would be an app that's open all the time, we can learn how to turn it off, how to shut it down, power down. And so what I'm here to offer you are some practices and strategies. You can call them mindfulness practices. You can call them mind fitness practices, right? I just call them essential life practices because when we're able to gain access to the settings in our busy mind, in our brain, we then start to become more confident that we don't have to live with chronic fatigue, chronic stress, chronic overwhelm, chronic anxiety or sadness. We get to choose. We get to choose how to live. And so there is a wonderful parable you may have heard about a frog and some boiling water. What they say, whoever they is, right? They say that if you throw a frog into a pot of boiling water, now don't try this at home, and I have not tried, I will not do that, but if you throw a frog into a pot of boiling water, it will jump out. Its instinct, its survival instincts will trigger, boom, it's out of there. However, if you put a frog into a pot of cold water and turn on the flame and start to simmer, the water starts to simmer, the water starts to boil, the frog will boil to death. In many ways, we're living in that pot of boiling water. We don't recognize how stressed, overwhelmed, anxious we are. We don't want to be that frog in boiling water. There's a better way to live. And I can say that with conviction because I know from my own life, being a typical type A, entrepreneur, achiever, doer, thinker, planner, controller, I have learned over time to notice these habits in me and those habits that aren't useful. And in getting to know those habits that aren't useful, just like you'd notice an app on your phone that's not useful anymore, we can change. I have changed by just recognizing my busy mind and the patterns and habits I've accumulated in my life, and to apply some strategies and practices, one that we're going to do in just a moment. And over time, it's happening at the cellular level. Over time, as we practice and look at and notice over and over again that which isn't working, it starts to weaken. And what we start to focus on, settled mind, clear mind, focused mind, open heart, what we focus on then becomes stronger. And I'm not just talking about this from a head level, right? This isn't just about will. This is happening in your neurobiology. Science shows that neurons that fire together wire together. What that means is what you do repetitively will start to lay down new patterns. If you start to practice open-hearted, being more allowing and accepting, that will grow stronger in your nervous system. Okay? So neurons that fire together wire together, which is why we want to practice. So let's get to our first practice. It's called 5 breaths. Don't roll your eyes. I know. It's so simple. 5 breaths. So we are just going to pay attention and count 5 breaths. Let's see what happens, okay? So come on, just do it with me. Have a seat. Place your feet on the floor. Close your eyes. Now, as you close your eyes, bring your attention to your feet. Notice your feet on the ground. Notice your seat on the chair. Notice your heart beating. Can you find your pulse somewhere in your body? Go ahead, look a little bit more deeply. And now notice your breath. Notice what it feels like to be breathing in this moment. Notice your inhale. Notice your exhale. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 5. And now just pause for a moment, allowing yourself to just be here. Open your eyes and notice for a moment. Notice how you feel. You might feel calmer, more relaxed. You may feel agitated. That's okay. You may feel sleepy. Oftentimes we feel sleepy when we slow ourselves down. So this simple mindfulness activity or mental fitness activity is one easy way to shift yourself from being stuck in your crazy busy mind to being clear, more awake, more alert, yet also more relaxed and at ease. I talk about this, I write about this in my book On the Verge, Wake Up, Show Up, and Shine. So you will be getting a copy of the book as well as access to the free app called On the Verge as well. On the app, I've got practices and strategies that I write about in the book. So be sure to download the app because there's lots more practice on there, guided audio and video. What is this stuff that I'm talking about? What do you call it? Why do we do it? Well, the topic of this talk, or the talk that I was going to do had I come down today, was from shift from frazzled to focused. So I'm back. You probably didn't even know I left. I've got to be completely honest with you. 2 times during this talk, my phone stopped and said, your storage is full. Slam dunk, right like that. Done. Just stop the video. And I just smiled because here I am speaking about our brains being like our phones, and the storage on my phone is completely full. And so often we feel that way. We feel like we can't take in any more information. We feel like we're holding on to so much. All right, so as I was saying, I apologize for this choppy video, but very interesting that my phone storage was full, so I had to delete a bunch of stuff. That's exactly what we're doing with these practices. We're recognizing the patterns that aren't helpful in our lives, that slow us down, that hold us back, that make us feel less than, that increase the doubt or anxiety in our lives. And when we free ourselves from these thoughts and patterns, we're able to step into life much more fully, right? It's like when you clean up your desktop on your computer, you know, when you've got too many documents on there, all of a sudden, you know, you can't even see your screensaver. This is what happens to us mentally when we don't take that mental shower. So the short practice we just did is just one of many, many ways that we can settle down. We can settle down our busy mind so that we can show up more fully for our lives, for others in our lives, for our purpose, for our work, for our hobbies, for whatever it is that you want to do in any given moment. So this book that I wrote on The Verge talks about living in the moment, but not just so that you can smell your coffee more or, you know, connect with your dog better. It's so that we can bring more purpose to our lives. So waking up out of our busy mind, recognizing when we get so riddled down with thoughts and emotions, to drop the drama and to show up more fully. So wake up out of your busy mind, show up in this moment, just like we did for 5 breaths. And when we do that, we shine. So I look forward to coaching you. I look forward to chatting with you personally and to supporting you in implementing daily practices in your life. So you'll read about it in my book, and then in January, February, hopefully we'll have time to chat one-on-one, and I can find out more about how I can support you in being consistent with some simple daily practices so that over time you're shifting your state from feeling frazzled to feeling focused, from feeling chaotic to feeling calmer and clearer. This is all doable. From my own experience, I say with conviction, there is a better way to live than being stressed out and anxious, than popping sleeping pills or being, you know, overly consumed by social media or anything else like that. Life is short. Our lives are precious. We have this precious gift, this precious day. Let's focus on how to show up fully for it. Let's focus on bringing forth our own magnificent intelligence so that we can really contribute to the world. Eckhart Tolle, who wrote The Power of Now, asked, "Are you polluting the world or helping to clean it up?" I love that quote. I think about it every day. My actions, my words, everything that I do in any given moment is either polluting the world or helping to clean it up. So your state of being and being responsible for your state of being can really shift the way you move it throughout the world. And it can really shift your contribution as well. Thank you for listening to my video that stopped and started so many times. Hopefully now my phone storage is clearer, my mind is clearer, and I hope that you feel a little bit clearer as well. Please send me emails and questions along the way, and I look forward to getting to know you all and seeing you live in the new year. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I look forward to the next time. Be well.